The Fire's going up against FC Cincinnati this weekend. Coach said stuff and the players said some other stuff. Don't ask me why I'm wearing a winter jacket inside. It was 70 degrees yesterday. Then last night it started hailing. And now it's 20 degrees with snowflakes falling on the ground. I'm not turning my heater back on anymore. I refuse. I'm not irrational. You're irrational. You're watching Firewatch FC. That was a little bit too aggressive, I'm sorry. Let's take a closer look at FC Cincinnati. Cincinnati will have last season's MVP in Lucho Acosta manning the midfield, but they lost their star striker in Brandon Vasquez over to Monterrey. And looking at their roster, they haven't really found a perfect replacement for him. I don't think they're too worried though, because they were able to secure the most sought after free agent this offseason, and that's USMNT player
Miles Robinson.
If they gel, the partnership between Robinson and 2023's Defender of the Year, Matt Miazga, will be incredibly hard to break through. But it's not all sunshines and rainbows. FC Cincinnati finished last week's matchup against Toronto FC with a 0-0 draw at home. A quick reminder that Toronto FC finished dead last in the East, but that does not mean that they should be underestimated. As we already know, Toronto's newly appointed coach, John Herdman, can work miracles, as we see him do in Canada's national team during World Cup qualification. And after looking at the highlights from that match, Toronto put up quite a fight. But remember, since he was missing Matt Miazga for this matchup, due to some disciplinary issues during the last time that they were out against the Red Bulls. Look that up, it's kind of crazy. Moving on, Cincinnati's matchup against the Fire will be their fourth match in just 2 weeks due to their inclusion in the CONCACAF's Champions Cup. This will most likely cause tired legs, since MLS roster rules don't really favor continental competitions, where deep rosters are a must. So, how will the Fire do against Cincinnati? This is going to be a tough one. I think it's really dependent on better service to Hugo Kuipers this time around. We know that as long as he has good service, he can be the goal scorer that we know he is. We know that he's a great goal scorer, but he needs service. Last time out against the Union, he didn't get his goal, but he was in the right areas every single time. It's just that the service wasn't really there. Keep in mind that he wasn't in preseason with the team, so with just 1 week of training, there's bound to be some hiccups. Hopefully with the second week of training, the team is able to gel together and really understand Kuipers more, how he moves, where he likes the ball, all those little details that will be incredibly useful against Cincinnati, especially if Matt Miazga and Robinson are going to be in that back line. Good service from Acosta, Gutierrez, and Shaqiri are the key to winning this matchup. Other than that though, the Chicago Fire is actually kind of lucky facing the reigning Supporter Shield winners at this time. Again, it's Cincinnati's fourth game in 2 weeks. They're definitely going to be tired. And their top scoring threat doesn't seem to be fully fit yet. Harold Lapenza didn't even start in their last matchup against Toronto FC. And that was apparently because of a minor hamstring injury. Multiple games in a row isn't going to help him heal that hamstring. All that's to say that FC Cincinnati have seen better days, and the Chicago Fire is kind of in a high right now. We were able to clinch a 2-2 draw at Subaru Park, and that was despite losing Gutman 2 minutes into the match. And Brian Gutierrez is sporting a new goal-scoring mentality right now. He was able to get a goal and an assist, and he already stated that there's more to come. Shaqiri looked very good at controlling the pace of the game in the middle of the field and giving off good passes. And Brady is doing Brady things, blocking shots like it's nobody's business. And now the Fire's new attacking line has kind of redefined what's possible for Chicago. The goals can really come from anywhere. And couple that with the fact that it's Chicago's home opener and we're wearing the back to red kits, I fancy our chances in getting some points this game. Now, before I get ahead of myself, I'm not super confident that we're gonna win this match, but I am confident enough to say that we'll probably end with a 1-1 draw against FC Cincinnati. And that's just due to Cincinnati having a really strong defense, but an unproven attack. And on the Chicago side, it's honestly the quite opposite. With Gutman being out, that defense is a bit subpar, but our attack, chef's kisses. So I feel like the advantages and disadvantages kind of level out, and we'll just meet in the middle with a 1-1 draw. Now, a new segment, Fire Updates. Guti states, I just didn't think about it. I just said why not shoot it? And I shot it, and it was a great goal. And more to come for sure. Good thing he said why not, because that makes him the first homegrown to score in a season opener. Speaking of season openers, Herbers gets back-to-back season opener goals. Congratulations. And he must have been feeling himself at the moment, because Shaqiri is now registered as the captain, and when he got subbed out, the one who got the armband was Herbers. This was also interesting because Chihos was on the field, and he's supposed to be the captain. Something to think about, both Shaqiri and Chihos are in the last year of their contract. Maybe that had something to do with it. Frank states, I think another week should get him maybe not 100%, but close to that, giving a solid reason as to why Acosta didn't start. He wasn't playing in preseason, so it makes sense that he wasn't 90 minutes fit. Per sources with varying degrees of credibility, there have been whispers saying that Gutman's injury isn't season ending, but he will need a month to recover. Other sources say too. I still blame that ugly turf that made Jimenez trip and Kuipers give a very scary stomp to the ground. The thought of losing Kuipers due to bad turf gets me kind of nervous. Hopefully MLS starts mandating that we start moving over to natural grass instead of turf, to protect our players. But that's just what I think. Now I'll throw it back to you. How do you think the Fire will do against Cincinnati? Will Kuipers finally get his first goal sporting that iconic red jersey at Soldier Field? Sound off in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Don't forget, 97 forever.